Hey guys, welcome to another video. Happy New Year for all those I haven't told. Happy New Year. This would be my first video for the year, so yeah, I'm excited. So today I'm doing a makeup look on my cousin. She decided that she wanted me to do her makeup today, so that's what I'm doing here. So first off, I started off with the brows. I just penciled them in, and you can see here that I'm cleaning them up. And I do all this after I prep her face. So before I started filling in her brows, I cleansed her face with some witch hazel and micellar water. Yeah, so and then I went in with starting off with the brows. So here I'm just blending that concealer in over her eyelids and making sure that there are no harsh lines. So after I was done with her eyes, I went in with a facial moisturizer. The one I'm using is called Pond's Facial Moisturizer for dry skin. I believe that's the one. Then after that, I went in with the LA Girl Primer Spray. That's a prep and hydrate face for makeup. And after that, I went in with the BH Cosmetics Paradise and Refresh Face Mist. Yeah. And then I let that dry down a little, and I went in with the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser Primer right before applying her foundation. So the foundation I'm using is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation, and it's in the shade 430W. Keep in mind that I am applying the foundation by pushing it into her skin. I am not tapping, I'm not pulling, I'm not dragging it across her face. This is a sped up clip, so it might seem that way, but I'm pushing it into her skin. And I'm using two brushes. I'm using a small one because her face is pretty small and I want to make sure that the foundation gets in the right places. And when I'm finished doing that, I use the larger brush to even it out or take off some of the product if there is too much. So you can see me doing that here. So right here you can see me cleaning up the top of her brows using a small detail brush, and I'm using the foundation to do this. I did not do it with the concealer earlier because the foundation gives it a more natural finish or a more natural look instead of that white casted halo. And I'm using the small foundation brush that I used to apply the foundation to blend that out. Then I go in with an even smaller brush because I didn't want a lot of makeup to go on her lace, and I'm using a smaller brush to blend out those edges as well as between her brows. Now here you see me adding a little bit more foundation, and I'm using both foundation brushes to blend that out because I saw that underneath her eyes were a little dark. Now I'm adding some concealer to her under eyes to, brighten up her eyes, and I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer, and this is in the shade Warm Sand. I'm using a brush to blend this out, and I'm also using a damp beauty sponge. I'm alternating between both to make sure that I get a seamless blend. When I'm applying concealer, I normally just apply it to the under eyes and the bridge of the nose. I don't normally put it on the forehead as well as the chin because majority of the time persons tend to use a lot of product under the eyes. So whatever is left on the brush or the sponge, that is what I carry over to the chin and the forehead area. And then I just blend that out. It gives it a more natural finish. So for cream contour, I'm using the Juvia's Place Stick Foundation in the shade Guinea, and I'm just applying that to the contoured area of her face. I use a brush to do this because it's a cream product and I want it to be placed how I want it and not too much. I use a brush to apply it and a sponge to blend it out. So that's what I'm doing right here. And if I want more, I just add more, but I just use brushes mostly and sponges, and I just blend that out to the depth that I like. So that's what I'm doing. And I also bring this down the nose as well, but not a lot. I just use whatever is left on the sponge to even that out. So for setting her under eyes, I'm using a nice fluffy brush from Real Technique, and I'm using a mixture of powders, like a whole lot of different mixtures of powders. So I mixed the Benai, Sasha, and Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm applying that first to the under eye very lightly, and I'm doing this in patting motions to make sure that the concealer absorbs the light amount that I'm using. And before I apply the brush to her under eyes, I normally rub this off on the back of my hand, so whatever excess powder comes off on the back of my hand, I reuse that. So this part, I'm just adding strictly Laura Mercier translucent powder to give her under eye a little pop after I do the mixture or the base. With the first three powders, I just add straight Laura Mercier after. I always dust this off on the back of my hand, and whatever else that's on the back of my hand, I just use that under her eyes, so you know the powder doesn't go flying everywhere. So what's on the back of my hand, I also bring it up to the bridge of her nose, her forehead, and her chin, just to give it a light set. So you can see me doing that here. So for contour, I'm using the Black Radiance Contour Palette as well as the BH Cosmetic Studio Pro Contour Palette. Just going back and forth with the shades that I like, that I know will give her a nice bronzed look or contoured look. And I'm just bringing those down the side of her nose as well, and the temple of her face. So that's what I'm using for today's contour. Yeah. So for the eyes, I used two palettes. I used the Juvia's Place Zulu palette, and I went in with that chocolatey brown shade first. I used this very lightly, and I also went in with the BH Cosmetics Marble Collection Warm Stone palette, and I also used both the brown shades in that palette to complete this look. I mostly stayed in her creased area with those brown colors, and I did those lightly. Both palettes are very, very pigmented, so what I did was I brushed some of the product from the brush to the back of my hand, and when I needed more, I just used what's on the back of my hand to apply it. Then I went over that with a clean brush, not really clean, the brush that I use for her contoured areas, to just blend those out. Here I'm just applying the P. Louise Roma base in the number 3, I believe, and I'm just blending that out to set a base for the eyeshadow I'm putting above that. And the palette I'm using for this is the BH Cosmetics Foil Eyes 2, and I'm using a shimmer silver shadow from that palette, and I'm just applying that lightly to her lid. I believe I added another layer, but yeah, I'm adding another layer. Then after that, I went in with the two brushes I used earlier, the brown brushes, and I blended out the edges. Right here, my cousin decided she wanted some glitter, so I just quickly added some glitter for her to give her, a little pop. So this is where I'm adding the dark shadows to her crease to deepen it a little more, as well as blend it into the silver shadow that I applied to her lids. Here I'm just adding a regular black eyeliner to her waterline, and I'm also lining the top of her lid. Right here I'm applying some lash glue. I normally just apply the glue to my lash line, then I add some to the lashes, then I let them both get tacky, then I apply the lashes. Here I'm applying the blush to her cheek, and I believe I'm using a Milani Baked blush. I don't remember the name right now. Then I went over her face with the BH Cosmetic Paradise Refresh face mist, and I'm using the sponge that I've been using earlier to press that into her skin, and I let it dry down a little. Then I go over that with the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray to finish off. So here you can see that I'm applying some highlighter to the high points of her face. I first went in with an ABH highlighter, I don't remember the name right now, and I topped that off with the Maybelline New York Master Chrome highlighter in Molten Gold. I believe that's 100. Yeah, I used that over it to give it a nice smooth golden look. So I'm applying that to her brow bone, the bridge of her nose, well, certain points, not the entire bridge of her nose, and I added that to the high points of her cheek. Then I went over that again with some spray just to set it. So for lips, I'm just using a regular brown pencil to line her lips, and I'm going over that with an ABH lip gloss in the shade Toffee, and then I spray some more setting mist over her face, and that's it. I hope you guys like it. Tell me what you think. I'm really proud of this look, I really am. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Please share, please tell your friends, tell a friend. Like this video, comment under this video, let's talk about it. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, tell me what you'd like to see me do, and tell me what you think about this video in particular. And again, guys, Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a great holiday, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.